I'm ready.
AJ, Bucs Bears, baby. Yeah, man. We got to come away with a win.
Yeah, man. Look, the way it's looking right now, I can see the Bucs pulling away with this. Their defense is just gonna have to step up. Let's see what they can do.
Mike Evans, our dude, our brother. Hey, pay Mike. They got to pay Mike. 60 yards on that one. Oh my God! And the touchdown to cap it off from Rachaad White. That's our dude, man. Hey, we got this. We got this. Hey, we're gonna beat the Bears.
Damn right. Look, we already know Evans is elite. Evans is that guy. You know what I'm saying? He made up for that touchdown.
Cam Gill with the sack, and we're going into halftime 13-10. Hey, bro, let's go. We're building. Let's get some.
Well, shit. You already know how I feel about him.
I can say AJ is yak, yakety, yak. They say Mike Evans can't get the ball yards after contact. That boy did a spin move, twisted a guy, sent him on his way down. He went, "You're going to orbit. Fuck you."
Look here, dog. I'm going to tell you this right now. You want to get respect, you got to win more games. Fuck all that other shit. We got this.
AJ, you know what it is? You know how it goes. Yeah. 8:30 tomorrow, Monday, Aftermath, me and you. Let's break that shit down. See you then.
All right, Slick. Another victory day for the Bucs. I will be seeing you on the Aftermath. You already know.
Welcome to the Aftermath, guys. We're about to hit that shit.
B-U-C-C-A-N-E-E-R-S, go Bucs. B-U-C-C-A-N-E-E-R-S, go Bucs.
What's up, Bug fans? It is AJ turned up with the Aftermath on 102.9, the game Broad Street.
Yes!
Yo, it is a glorious victory Monday. AJ turn up. We got my man, Coach Slick, aka the British guy who's always fly and on standby. How are you feeling today? What's up? How you feeling today, Slick?
I'm feeling dangerous.
Oh yeah. Oh.
I'm feeling dangerous too. Buccaneers with the well-deserved win, 27-17, already silencing all these haters. I love it. Bucs come out and do a hell of a job. The offense taking care of business, the defense dominating. Baker Mayfield was out there making shit happen. Mike Evans, pay the man. Mike Pay Me Evans was out here scorching defenses. Rachaad White is finally getting the groove. The line was doing their job. No sacks. Oh, and then also a big ups to Shaq Barrett. Blessings to you, brother. It's only fitting that you're the one that seals the game. And again, many blessings to you, your family. Great job. Great damn job. Izzian, man, you are out here you a ball hawk. I don't know. Is this Edwards? Remember Edwards always around.
Yeah.
Izzian might be the new reincarnated Edwards. Man, JTS was out here rushing passers. What? JTS? Oh man, look, guys, we got a fun total episode tonight. We have so many guests. It's going to be a full house again because, again, your Bucs are 2-0, and this is the first time since the year 2000 that a quarterback has started 2-0 with no interceptions. That was in Sean King's time. That was right when Bush was entering the office. That's how long it's been since the Bucs have looked this clean. Come on.
Yeah. Oh
yeah. Exactly. And to all you doubters out there, I'm talking about Peter King. I'm talking about Colin Cowher. I'm talking about Brissett. I'm talking about Stephen A. Smith, Shannon Sharp. I can't believe I'm saying Ryan Clark.
You are a bitch. You are a
You're going to give the Bucs some damn respect. This ain't about Justin Fields messing up. He messed up because he playing against an elite defense. This is a top 5 defense, and we're gonna break this shit down. But I'm just giving y'all the overview of what it is. Give these Bucs respect. As a matter of fact, keep doubting us because we're gonna come up and we're just gonna buck you up. There it is.
Hey, I'm with it, man. Everything's going well for us at the moment. Baker, no interceptions, no turnovers. He looks like he's playing like a man playing for a contract right now. And I think he's hoping to try and find his forever home because let's face it, it's going to probably, if he does play well and he does end up, let's say, what he's on pace for. I mean, his yardage is pretty down up there as well. He could quite easily be looking at a dude that's going to be commanding a big salary too. So it's something the Buccaneers have got to get some food for thought for. But if he can turn the Buccaneers around, he knows this is win, win, win for him. If the Buccaneers don't want him and he's good, and they want to go down the drafting route, then he knows that someone else is going to go and pick him up. Someone like a New York Giants who go, yeah, well, maybe they can't because they just sunk a shit ton of money into a quarterback that can't do shit. So this is the thing, guys.
Yeah. Again, Baker is also, I don't even think it's about the money anymore for Baker. Baker wants to establish his legacy. I do think that all these years of bouncing around, it has humbled Baker to an extent to where this isn't just about me anymore. I cannot just think about me. And he is fortunate because he's on a team, not only with the best talent he's ever been around, but a new coach that actually wants to work with him. I tell you guys this, coaching can make or break careers. In Cleveland, he was with a team that was in over their heads coaching wise. And then also an overrated Landry, an overrated Odell Beckham, who wanted to be an IG honey, popping his head out of jacuzzis with men, whatever, being on boats instead of training hard and starting fights with the field goal posts. So, and then went to a bad Panthers team that was a sinking ship, and then went to a battered, bruised Rams team, and he still showed you what he could do. Now he's at a complete team that believes in him, and we told you this already. A lot of you guys owe me and Slick an apology, and I'm not talking about you Buck fans. I'm talking about the rest of the world out there, you doubters. We said that this guy can make a difference. Oh, the Saints got Derek Carr. We don't need him. Slick has already told you that. I'll let Slick reiterate it again. Baker Mayfield is what we wanted. We needed that because last year, we got to be real, it was underachieved. Sorry to say this, Brady underachieved. The coaching staff damn well underachieved. We still have a lot of the same talent, but now with Baker at the helm, look at how much fun this offense is having.
It looks like we're playing complementary football right now.
Complementary football. Evans is more fluid. I haven't seen this type of fluid movement from Evans since his rookie season in the 2016 season. He looks slimmer. A lot of people were dogging him because he ran out of steam. I'm like, well, first of all, it was 92 degrees in Tampa. With that humidity, that shit was 100 degrees basically down there. And he still got it done. He was still getting past defenders.
He's never been that kind of like race you to the end zone kind of guy anyway. If it's short, there's only 20 yards to go, he's mostly going to make it. But you're asking him to go from like inside his own half to then catching the ball and then running it all the way in. If they've got a speedster, they will catch it with him. It's just the way it is.
Yeah, that goes to Palmer. He's gone. If Palmer catches that, shit, the Bears would have just ran out of steam. But I do like the fact that this offense, like you said, complementary football and balance. They ran it just enough to be effective. The Bears still had to honor the Bucs run game. And that's what it's all about. The rollouts were working because they tried to play like the Vikings with the blitzing, but they realized that shit didn't work and they don't have the guys to do it. I just love seeing Baker maneuver out of that. That's what we need. Last year, we wouldn't have had that. So this is why. I know we're just talking about the offense. I want you to understand how much improved this offense is. They're having fun. They're maneuvering. And they're still figuring the shit out. This was not a perfect game by the offense whatsoever because when they got to the red zone, they were messing up. But can you imagine this offense when they get in sync in about 7 weeks? I don't want to be – yes, I can't wait for that. Slick, take it away.
Guys, just before you all listen to us on Broad Street South Radio, we are live and we're going to bring in our first guest. We got Mr. Rick Hughes from Buc Bucks Live, welcome to the show, brother. How you doing?
Gentlemen, did I miss something? Did something happen on Sunday? It was a game. Holy cow, man! That was awesome. That was awesome. Let me tell you something. The most exciting thing about Mike Evans is he didn't tweak a hammy with all that running. I can't believe it, man. That was awesome. What a day! What a day! Listen, everything about this team is right. Everything feels right about this team. It was great having Tom Brady there. It was fantastic. But this is more fun. To me, this is even more fun. This is all about the Bucks. This is the Bucks. It's not Tom Brady and the Bucks. It's
Yeah.
This is all about my favorite team, the Buccaneers, and what they're doing as a group, as a squad. It's look at what the defense is doing. Look at what the running game is doing. Holy crap, they're really sticking with the running game, finally. I mean,
And then mixing it up.
what's that?
They're mixing it up. It's not the same look every. Like you could watch last
Right.
year. I could turn around and look at the formation. Went, they're running. They're running. They had obvious passing formations and obvious running formations. And once you can key on to a formation, they only run out of this formation. You now no longer need to read because your eyes don't need to deceive. They can't deceive your eyes. You know what's coming. And I always say it's this: the reading of the game is the fundamental part. When you don't need to read because you know what's happening, you are saving yourself valuable seconds of processing time of figuring out what they're fucking trying to do because you already know it.
Yeah, so absolutely. Let me say this is glaring. We have a guy who has never called plays. I mean, not in college, not he's been in the NFL for years and years and years. He's never called plays, and he's doing so much better than Byron Leftwich did. And it is obvious that it was Bruce that was doing the calls when he was there. It's obvious Bruce was behind that.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. This is why Bruce kind of pissed me off a little bit. I understand you want the guys, but that you brought up to get an opportunity.
Bring you guys up.
They have to make an opportunity. You have to make an opportunity to get one. You can't just live off of your mentor. This is what Slick said. These owners were going to ask him, had the keys to the car. You had this team. What happened? Well, this happened. Why didn't you adjust, Byron? Well, this was all in the game. Okay, Byron, thank you. We'll keep your resume for 90 days and you're through. One of the key plays, Rick, that you said that they had to do was run, and they did it. The best run play was a toss. I saw that play and I said, we're in a new day, gentlemen. I thought they were going to try to run that shit up the gut on a third. Rick, when they tossed it and White got they got the first down, I said, oh my God, Rick was right.
How about when Rashard White ran from the 4-yard line for the touchdown on a 3rd and 4 because they changed the call based on the defensive alignment? I mean, Byron Leftwich, that's just not something he can do. The thing is, and this is what's so exciting, guys, and this is why we can be so excited. Listen, I don't know if you've watched the Panthers, for instance, but okay,
I'm not
Bryce
impressed.
Young's bad.
Yes.
Okay, he really is bad. I mean, people could say, oh, give him time, he's a rookie. Maybe, but every time he gets hit, he's dropping the ball on the ground. I mean, tonight he's been horrible. And the Saints just can't score either. They finally, I guess, got a touchdown and had a 1 touchdown lead. I don't know what it is now, but
it's 13-6.
Yeah, the thing we have to understand about our division is the Saints have still not allowed a touchdown this season. So that's something we have to keep an eye on. And the Falcons,
Falcons, I actually have to say, they're the team that I would say that's going to give us I feel like it's going to give us the most trouble.
I have to agree. I mean, the Saints
defense
scares me, but their offense is terrible. But yeah, the Falcons look like they are gonna at least be scrappy and put up a fight.
I'm
So
not. I'll tell you this, Rick and Slick, both of you guys. I'm still not worried about the Falcons, and here's why. Slick, we're designed to stop the run. If they try to do that shit with Bijan, and I think for the first 2 games he's doing a fantastic job. Shout out to him, but he hasn't faced Vita Vea. He hasn't faced Levante.
I agree.
He
well,
hasn't faced
let me agree.
And
Let me say
disagree
this.
because I've got some
I
here
can
too.
remember a couple of years ago hearing over and over and over, oh, but they're facing Derrick Henry, or oh, but now they're facing, and it was always somebody, and everybody kept saying, well, this guy's a different kind. Whoa, this guy. Well, yeah, what
Mm-hmm.
about that? And I remember going on and on with, I don't know, one of the other hosts who kept saying, well, you got to understand this guy's different. We stopped all of them.
Yes.
And if we stop the run against the Falcons, I'll take our chances against Desmond Ritter.
Me too.
Absolutely. I think what I was the point I was iterating was out of the teams in our division, they're the
Oh,
team
no,
that
I
worries
agree.
me. Not like they actually worry me as a collective whole of our entire season. It's just out of those, I think they're the bigger challenge out of everybody because I think
I
they can
agree
play
with you.
the
I think what you said was on point. They are the team that I am the most aware of that's out there
I like that word.
that
That's
could be
better
the
than worry,
biggest
isn't it?
threat. Yeah, well, no, I mean, I would agree with you. They worry me the most. Okay, I don't worry. This is football. I mean, but
I like the word aware.
yeah, it's. I'm aware they're out there. They're not somebody to mess with. They look like they might be a little bit more difficult than maybe we were hoping. And okay, that's out there. All right, now, but the thing is, man, our offense and our defense, everything's clicking. It's
Yes.
fun to watch these games, man. It is fun to watch these games.
I agree.
And I mean, man, I don't want to take up all your time tonight. I don't. I just want to tell you how excited I am. And I'm telling you, and I said it before this freaking season started, we're going to be better this year than we were last year. And we are.
I agree.
Have a
Yeah,
great
look
night,
at the
gentlemen.
team from a whole. We ain't winning games because we got a walk-off touchdown because Tom Brady decided to turn up for the last 2 minutes of the game and he just played his life. You know what Tom Brady turns that fucking dial to fucking Brady-esque and just goes boom, 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 scores. We've been playing a good game through. I mean, first few 2 quarters of the last the game we started
Yep.
on one. We weren't great, but we finished off the half on a high. And then we took the second half of that game into the whole game of yesterday, and you can
Yeah.
see it. And I think this offenses get better over time, especially when it's new. So I'm
Yep.
looking at us at like potentially after the bye week, maybe exploding a little bit more and being having a little bit more pop.
Yeah,
But the big thing, in my
absolutely.
opinion,
Guys,
is done
have a
with bare
great
minimum.
night. Have a great night. Go Bucks. Go Bucks. Go Bucks.
Yes, sir. And oh, he's gone. But just like what one goes, and the Lord's taketh away us, the Lord also give us, and the Lord gives us Mr. Carter Brantley, the most negative person in football.
The
How you
most
doing,
negative
Carter?
person in football. Damn.
I think it's always was he described himself? I'm a man that's glass is half empty. So I was like, okay.
Oh, right. No, for sure. I feel you. Yeah. I
But
mean, you know,
how are you feeling right now about this Buccaneer football team?
pretty good. Yeah. I mean, look, you know, I think a big point that needs to be stressed is that, you know, they haven't been playing any good teams. You know, the Bears and the Vikings are horrible. So I think that needs to be kept in the back of people's minds. But at the same time, it's the NFC, you know, no teams are very good. So, you know, the Bucs could just be, you know, at the upper echelon of a really horrible conference. And overall,
That's what you need to do. You just need to be the best in your division.
Right.
And you just need to win the games that are your divisional games
For
and
sure.
walk away with them.
Yeah, they'll probably lose to the Eagles, and I think they play the Bills. They'll probably lose to them too. So, you know, they've got some tough games.
With this defense, the way it's playing against that, I mean, I think the toughest team out of those two is definitely the Eagles, but the Bills, the way they cough up the football so much, there's an opportunity that you could walk away with a pick six here or something just to cap off the game to finish it off. It might be one of those, you catch them when they're not playing too well. He's thrown it because he's good with the ball, but he's also useless and careless with it. could just get a like Christian Isn't pick, and he's sixing it all the way home, and we cap off the game to finish it. You never know.
For sure. Any given Sunday, as they say. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely an exciting time. Like, I don't think any of us, or at least myself, I didn't necessarily expect them to be 2-0. I was thinking, they might steal a victory here or there, but yeah, it's exciting. I mean, shoot, because they could sneak away with a win against Philadelphia. I mean, you never know. It's football, but yeah, things are looking up. Baker looks good. The defense is amazing. The defense is balling out. But oh man, I cut the hair down a little bit to try to get away from the Herbert.
Kind of like a very young James Spader look about you.
Oh man, James Spader, I dig that. James Spader is a good looking dude, so I'll take that as a compliment. But
you've got that voice as well. That man, when that guy speaks, it makes your hair stand up.
Yeah, he's definitely a bit of a creepy dude. He's got that way of talking that
Ultron
kind of gives you the
Ultron. Don't respect Ultron.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ultron got a commanding voice. I love it.
For sure. No, it's a great voice.
I know who James Spader was when I watched thing, and then I started to get into the US office, and he's got a good stint in that. And
Yes.
I'm like, and I heard his voice, and I'm like, it doesn't matter how he talks and what he talks about, he sounds menacing. He could be talking about going out for drinks and just chilling out with a friend, and you think, oh my god, this guy is so fucking creepy, and he wants to kill fucking people. He just sounds like a serial killer every time he speaks.
Yeah, and he always plays menacing characters. But yes, but Carter, I want to just piggyback on what you were saying about the Eagles and the Vikings and Bears being bad teams. I love that you said that, and I love, and this is why I said I want to talk to Colin Coward and Steven and Shannon and all the other media. Wait a minute, weren't the Bucs supposed to be worse than those two teams we just mentioned? Look at that. The Vikings had hype. Oh, they're gonna be all right, despite losing Dalvin Cook. The Bears, Justin Fields is going to excel. They got DJ Moore, despite not having a line. Here's the thing. A lot of shit was said on paper, but now all of a sudden the Bucs are winning, and the way that they're winning, I don't want to hear these are two bad teams. These were not two bad teams that you guys deemed in the beginning of the season. So for those media people, I don't want to hear that. The Bucs are taking care of business. Has it occurred to them that this Bucs defense is already still top 5? Has it occurred that Baker is not as bad? And you could put an average quarterback on this team offensively, and he's going to do fine. It's just that they can win games. Baker can win these games. The Eagles, to be honest, Carter, we're catching the Eagles at the right time. I'd rather play an Eagles early than a mid to end of season Eagles, because they're not looking so good on offense. They're still trying to figure themselves out. And
I would say in their division, the Cowboys right now probably look like the better team.
Yeah, and think about it like this.
Just because they're able to put, you can have a quarterback play that poorly in your first game and you still walk away with 30 points. It's insane.
Yeah, so I think, Carter, the Eagles, we're catching them at the right time, because now if Carlton Davis does come back and he's healthy, and if Dean is healthy, now you got a full set of your corners. Your secondary is good. We see that if JTS keeps what he kept up against the Bears, it could be a long day. Hurts is going to want to run, and I think he will try to, but I think the Bucs will be ready for that. Look at how they were ready for Justin Fields. Didn't Bo say he had a spy most of the time for Fields, and Fields got only 3 yards? I truly think that this Bucs team is a lot more exciting and hungrier. Everyone in there is playing with humility. One thing I do get from this, and Carter, I want to ask you, what's the vibe that if you had to say in one word to describe this Bucs feeling right now, what would you say?
Oh man, one word. That's a good question, though. I always like to try to sum things up concisely, of course, as I ramble on, but definitely exciting. I think exciting is the perfect way, just because, they aren't really supposed to be here. Like you mentioned, all the pundits, all the high, all the know-it-alls and all that, they kind of wrote the Bucs off. I think myself included. I wasn't expecting them to go 2-0.
That's why I put you in the most negative person in
right.
Hey,
I try to be realistic. I'm not gonna try to put shine on a turd and tell you it's gold, but no, I feel
you. Delusion does us, but and our delusion, how true. We just got lucky.
Right, for sure. I think two things can be true. I think that the Bears and the Vikings are not a very good team. I've been saying. I mean, the Bears had the number one overall pick last year. They won one game. So if anyone was coming in here saying, "Oh, the Bears team to look out for," they're lying to you. That's just them trying to generate hype. And then the Vikings won more one possession games last year than I feel like. Didn't they break a record or something? I mean, good gracious, they had like so many one possession victories. And it's the same in, like, I compare it to baseball. Like, if you look at a team's record in one run games in baseball, it fluctuates from year to year. So they just got lucky last season. It's Kirk Cousins as your quarterback, fumbling and throwing interceptions and doing all the Kirk Cousins things that he does. You're not going to get very far. So I don't know. I wasn't super high on the Vikings or the Bears either. But you still got to beat bad teams, right? Like the Bucs could have easily gone out there and lost and been a bad team, but instead they're playing really well. And it's very exciting. So that's kind of my vibe for the team. It's just, they're an exciting team to watch right now, hoping it continues, hoping they don't hit a wall or anything. But yeah, like you said, the Eagles, they caught them at a good time because their passing game is atrocious right now. They can't really get a lot of things started through the air, but man, DeAndre Swift, Jalen Hurts running the football. I mean, they can still just punch the ball down your throat because they got that amazing offensive line. So there's still some concern to be had with the Eagles. But you're right. If you're going to play the Eagles at any time, I think this is probably the best week to do it.
I completely agree.
What was your takeaway from the offensive play calling this game? Compare it to the Bears and the Vikings. Was it a significant improvement, or did you, or what, in your opinion?
Compared to last season's play calling, it seems like
to the Vikings play calling.
Okay. So to the Bears play, I'll start with the Bears because I hated the way the Bears called that game. I mean, it was atrocious. Like, there were just so many calls that were just mind-boggling. I mean, it was like, what are we watching right now? Like it was kind of like watching Byron last year at some points, but I think even worse because, Byron was kind of hamstrung with, I don't want to say hamstrung with Tom Brady. That sounds awful, but you don't have a mobile quarterback. So there's a few things that you can't really do, but Justin Fields, I mean, good gracious, there's a lot of different things that he could have done.
All out throws.
Yeah. I
hated run plays for him.
Yeah, I mean, it was just atrocious, and I thought that they started off really hot, but then it just got worse as things went along, and it was just very disappointing from a football fan perspective, just someone who wanted to watch some good football. It was disappointing, and then the Vikings. I mean, it's kind of tough to judge. It's week one. I feel like everyone's kind of settling into their game plan a little bit. We even saw it with the Bucs. The Bucs kind of came out a little soft. That first half was kind of rough to watch, but obviously they clicked into gear in that second half. But the Vikings were a little bit tough, and the execution was a bit off. Like I said, week one is always a tough judgment to make because Kirk Cousins had a few of those weird fumbles. I mean, the Bucs defense was playing really, really well. Like you said, I'm with you, AJ. I think the Bucs are a top 5 defense at this point. They're playing really, really well. So it's kind of hard to super judge the Vikings on that, but yeah, I mean, the Dave Canales has done a phenomenal job. The results speak for themselves. They're running the football well. Week one, obviously, it was only a 70-yard performance. The yards per carry was rough, but they only had one negative yardage play on the ground, which I think is really telling as to how effective their running game is now, as opposed to last season when they were the worst team in football. And then Rachaad White obviously went off last week. He was phenomenal. So, yeah, it was really fun to watch these past few weeks. The play calling develop, like you said. It's really fun, to see a guy kind of cut his teeth and try some things out, and Dave Canales is doing that.
Oh man, love it. And I know you probably got to get going soon, but what is your one word to describe the Bears and Bucs game, and then give me one word that you are hoping for in the Eagles game.
I would say consistent for the Bears game. There were a lot of, I don't want to say consistent because that makes it sound like they were kind of boring. But they were there. They took care of the football. They didn't try to do too much. They also didn't try to do too little. They weren't conservative. They're just right in the pocket. They were right in that, right on 2 and 4, they were just in that groove, and they didn't do too much, but they didn't do too little. So I would say consistent was the word of the day for the Bears. And against the Eagles, I gotta say precise, because if they make some silly mistakes, if they even not necessarily even turnovers, the Eagles are just such a good team. I mean, they went to the Super Bowl last year, a touchdown away from winning for a reason, and they arguably got better this offseason. So it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a tough battle, but if they can be precise, if they can execute everything almost perfectly, I think they'll come away with a victory, but that's a very tall order for any NFL team to be near perfect in execution. So I don't know. I'm optimistic, but I'm also not unrealistic. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think the Bucs are going to be in every single game this season. I think they've shown they're hardworking. They've got a lot of fight in them. I don't know that they'll win, but I think it'll be a lot better of a game than I think we would have thought before the season started.
Absolutely.
Well,
just to reiterate a point of you saying like the Buccaneers, they've gone up against some weak teams. Obviously, those boys from the Vikings, they were the favorite team in that game. Obviously, we were the favorite team in the game before, home field advantage and what have you. But we look at this Buccaneers schedule right now, and we go against, let's say, what we consider, or let's say, what Carter would consider. Do you consider the Eagles a good team?
Oh yeah, they went to the Super Bowl last year. They're
the Saints a good team.
Yeah. Oh, the Saints? No. I'm going to be honest. Before we keep going, the only two teams I consider to be really good teams in the NFC are the 49ers and the Eagles. Everyone else is.
We play both of those teams, and we play the Lions. So even if we were to lose and get slayed by those teams, that's only 3 losses technically. I mean, let's say we kind of we lose 1 or 2 of the divisional games because they're divisional games and anything can happen. Buccaneers could quite easily talk about having a 10-win season, just from the fact that there's no one else in who we play in our schedule that is like a powerhouse. I mean, the Jags don't look quite the Jags they're supposed to be, but again, we're in week 2. We don't really know what they're going to look like. Packers are a bit, we don't know yet. And then, of course, I've said that earlier with our last guest, that Atlanta's probably the team, in my opinion, is probably the more worrisome of our divisional matchups, just because the team is complete.
Yeah, I definitely agree. They lack the passing game. It's very much, Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier, Desmond Ridder running the football. I mean, Drake London this past week, he was great. He had a real good bounce back game, but him and Kyle Pitts are both first round picks, and they get very few targets, and it's disappointing to see just from a football fan's perspective, because Kyle Pitts, ridiculous amount of talent, really great tight end. So the fact that he's being wasted as kind of just a third tackle is just really disappointing. So the Falcons are a tough matchup, but at the same time they lack the balance. Like you said, they're just kind of missing something. So I think the Bucs can still kind of take care of business against them. But like you said, it's a divisional matchup. Anything can happen. And I think that same thing can be said with a lot of their matchups. It's very much a 50-50 thing. And it all, I hate to put it all on Baker, but it does hinge a lot upon their ability to take care of the football and not throw interceptions, just make smart decisions on the field. So, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I got to hop off, fellas. I really appreciate it.
Best of the Bay nominee, is this correct?
Oh, I guess I technically work for Creative Loafing, so I feel like that's kind of a conflict of interest. But, you can definitely find me.
What can you write me in for, guys?
Right. But yeah, y'all can find me on there. Y'all also can find me on RBLR. We're gonna have a show this week previewing the Eagles game and stuff. Y'all can catch me there. And yeah, obviously on Bucs Report, Carter's Corner, we got something special cooked up this week. A little bit of spice thrown in, something a little different. Just to make it, a little bit interesting, because, it can get kind of bland just with the same game reports over and over again. So
absolutely. And you do have some creative writing skills. So looking forward to enjoying your piece that comes out. So yeah, definitely send me that, and look forward to having you again soon, brother.
Absolutely. I appreciate y'all so much. Y'all have a great night.
Take it easy, my man.
Yes, sir. Y'all take it easy.
And look, we got another full house.
The Lord keeps giving. The Lord keeps giving. So let's bring our gentleman, Old Salty Buck. Oh, God, I pressed the wrong damn button. Old Salty Buck, Jeremy, joining the show. Jeremy Morrow, welcome to the show, brother. How's it going?
It's going pretty good. How's it going, fellas?
It's going well. The Bucs are 2-0. We're doing good. We're living good. We're doing right. We're winning.
Yes,
How do you feel about it?
I mean, I feel great. We speak about changeover and turnover as you talk about his staff, and this breath of fresh air that Dave Canales has brought in. I don't even think we're at full throttle with this offense yet. We looked at that week 1 game, and there was a lot of conservative play calling. Some of the plays were designed more for a quick out to get Baker comfortable back on the field. As you know, preseason isn't the preseason we once knew. It's starters don't play, so week 1 is really preseason for them. So I thought, and I saw a lot of plays that I felt were more confidence builders to get him in a rhythm. And then week 2, you could see a lot more wrinkles in the system being thrown in there. That end around that came from the tight end position from the right side to the left side. You saw a little more full protection with some deep shots in a manner that was much like how Bowles was speaking after week 1, that they didn't bring him in to be conservative. They brought him in to take some shots, to throw some wrinkles for defenses to think about. And I'd say that offense right now is probably sitting at 75, maybe 70% of what the actual playbook looks like. And I think we're going to start seeing some things open up, especially with Baker feeling comfortable and being accurate.
Oh yeah, I'm already with you on
Very
this.
good assessment. I love
Yeah.
that. It's beautiful. Jeremy, I believe you were at the game yesterday.
I was at the Rays-Orioles game.
Go Rays. How what was that environment like? Was it good?
Oh, that was amazing. We sat pretty close, so there was interaction with some of the players. We got to see Tristan, the rookie who's been in the minors for 7 years, hit a home run in his first major league debut. The end result wasn't what we asked for. We wanted a win. We wanted to clinch with a win, but Cleveland came through with a victory on the same night, so that put the Rays into the playoffs anyway. But hey, it was a great place. I live in Maryland now, and I got to say, the Baltimore game and the fans there were awesome. We heckled each other back and forth a little bit, but it was all in good fun. It was a great environment, so it was a blast for sure.
My man. Well, hopefully we can get the results that we want against Philly, but let's go back to the Bears game. Offensively, you said it. We are still learning ourselves, and that's what should scare opponents, because Baker is playing. He's not playing for the money. Of course, he wants money, but he's playing for legacy. I told Slick earlier, I think he wants to show people, no, I can win, and I'm going to win, and I have the opportunity, because he's sick of all that nonsense that people have talked about him. Again, if you go back, Jeremy, and look at the media, I don't want to hear anybody saying how they believed in Baker. The only people who really believed in Baker is us right here. Slick and I were saying, we were talking like, look, this guy has it. The media was too focused on Brady, on a team that underachieved last season. We have to be real. We all know it. That's how I can tell these guys didn't really watch the Bucs, and they just doing what Slick calls the fluff. If you want to do fluff talk, they need to wink their eyes and wiggle their nose so I can understand, okay, this is fluff time. Not football time, because I'm sitting here saying, what the hell are you guys talking about? This Bucs
Man, you'd be surprised how many people talk so much crap. We all have friends, right? And we have friends who support different teams.
Yes.
Yeah, people who are turning around and go, but you guys are rebuilding. And I keep putting in my group text. I'm like, so apparently we're rebuilding. Just saying, we're apparently we're rebuilding. We're 2-0. Yeah, they're like, yeah, don't get too cocky. And I'm like, not getting cocky. I'm just saying it is. You all told me that we were rebuilding. We should start moving pieces of the way and getting trading pieces of the way and getting draft picks.
So if you go back to some of the preseason stuff, I wrote an article that spoke about Gadecki. Horrible rookie season, but he was playing out of position. He was a top guard coming out of college, and that fell to the wayside almost immediately after the season ended. Look at his PFF rating. Look at the his lack of production and his ability to keep defenders out of Brady's face. People don't understand how hard it is to go from guard to tackle, or from guard on one side to guard on the other side. Those transitions, especially as someone who just entered into the NFL and is being thrown in there at the last minute due to injuries, that puts such a bad taste in people's mouth. The way the offensive line is gelling right now is we saw it. We saw it. We knew that some of these guys were good and that they could play in certain positions and that they could come together. But as soon as someone saw the top name injuries come off and Smith go to Kansas City, everybody sold off our offensive line as being somewhat putrid, and that Baker, was going to get murdered. And we're not seeing that. We're not seeing that because this is a well-built team who understands their roles and positions. And now you have players who weren't doing well last season playing in their original positions that they started at. And like you said, mainstream media doesn't pay attention to that. They don't look back and see the draft report for Gadecki to see that this guy can be a very good guard. The three of us saw it. We saw this coming.
Yeah, we knew this, and that's why we were frustrated, because this is about football. This isn't always about the narrative of the story, because Baker at that time last season, as we know, he wasn't the big eye catcher, and he's still not at this moment, which is fine. I like this. I like being under the radar. The Bucs do much better when nobody's watching, in my opinion. Yeah. They've always been that way. When no one cares and they say, maybe. When the Bucs get them mad, that's when we shock them, because I saw Baker yesterday throw a pass. We saw it where he was about to fall, and he did a Mahomes-esque type of play. If Mahomes does that, it's all over sports media. It's all over.
Yeah, it's covering that
yeah,
every day, all day.
I think everyone who saw that was a Bucs fan going, if this was Mahomes, they would be literally glowing about it in the post game. They'd be glowing about it in the media. Everyone will be talking about, did you see him? That guy went down. And it was a complete catch. Mahomes didn't complete some of these throws, but they still show how great he was in the Super Bowl, throwing these balls that were incomplete and going, oh my God, look at him throw off platform. Who gives a shit if you can't complete? We can all throw falling over it, and it'll probably hit the dirt. You tell me to jump and throw, it'll probably hit the dirt. That doesn't mean it's spectacular. It just means I throw a fucking ball while I was falling over.
Exactly. Or that pass that he had to Mike Evans deep towards the end zone, in between two defenders, perfectly placed. All Mike had to do was turn around.
Feet stays in, and he's just off to the races. That was really nice to see. And like you said, they started off a little bit conservative, and I think he just needed its new OC, right? Getting his feet wet, figuring out, let's go conservative first and see how that looks, and then we'll be a little like confidence builders. You said confidence builders, absolutely. He was what 3 of 13 in the first quarter and a half, so he was not playing very well.
No, he had 6 incompletions in a row, and they were bad incompletions. They were low in the dirt outside of the right shoulder when they're tiptoeing the line. They were not good passes. No. But it's about building confidence in week 1. Exactly. Especially in a new offense.
Yeah. And it's about getting those players, everyone confidence. He throws a couple of passes, they're complete. Now he's not feeling down on himself. Now he's feeling good. Now he can make that bigger throw that he probably wouldn't have made if you just didn't give him any confidence boosters. Mm-hmm. You didn't give him those easy completions that were only, we went 3 and out, but he completed 2 passes.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm. Now, and Jeremy, I do want to see. I want to ask you this: what is your thoughts on the media? If you watch them today, it was all about Justin Fields. This is what they said: as Justin Fields regressed. Justin Fields doesn't know what he's doing. The Chicago organization doesn't know what he's doing. Man, there were plays he should have had. The Buccaneers beat them. But let's talk about Justin Fields. Fields did this. How do you feel about that? Where's the respect?
We're Buccaneers fans. We're used to this, right?
Yes.
Like, whenever we win, it's the other team's fault that they lost. It's never that the Buccaneers came with a better game plan. Amen. The Buccaneers are better than what everybody's been saying. They have a team with the corresponding pieces in the right places. They have a new offensive coordinator who knows what he's doing. He brought Geno Smith's career back from the dead.
Yep.
And it's about Justin Fields. Now, I will say this. I'm going to show some bias here. I hate Ohio State quarterbacks. Name one that's won a Super Bowl.
I don't think maybe one, if that. I don't think none. I don't think any, actually.
Nope. And they are always drafted high because Ohio State is a wide receiver producing college.
Agreed. Now that's just facts. I agree with that. Joey Galloway can attest to that.
They didn't talk about Levante. They again, like you said, they got into Justin Fields and the mistakes he's made. They didn't talk about Levante David and his sideline to sideline speed and finding those spaces that Fields was staring down and sitting in them to prevent him from having any underneath passes. They didn't talk about the pressure that came from the blind side. Yeah.
He was so low on our linebacking core was so low on tackles. It's insane. Like, that just goes to show that they were building to go, you go this way, you're gonna have to deal with Levante. You go this way, you're gonna have to deal with Devin. Now, there were a couple of things on if I remember correctly in the game, there was one defensive play call that I just scratched my head and went, why are we doing this? And it was a stack formation for the Bears. They get a big long, I think it might have been in their first touchdown at the start of the game, and one of them breaks out and we blitz the safety, and Devin White has to go from midfield all the way to the flats. And I'm like, why are we doing this? I mean, this is just straight stupid. Like, everyone knows that you've just blitzed somebody who can no longer cover the flats. The flats are wide open. I'm just going to throw it right at the edge of the flats because there's no way, doesn't matter how fast he is, he can get there in time. And he's diving. Maybe he could have got a fingertip to it. Who gives a shit? It doesn't matter because that was just not, that does not play to what we're supposed to do.
So I know what play you're talking about. I did see a replay. When an offense goes to a stacked wide receiver set and you're sitting with such a cushion on the defense, you have to audible your defense. Whoever is the captain at that time, whether it's White, David, whomever, you have to recognize that a stacked wide receiver core is going to provide you three levels of anticipated passing zones, right? So you're going to have a low, an intermediate, and a high. And when you are going to be blitzing the third coverage man in the stack, you automatically are giving up a free pass in probably the shorter intermediate range when you're blitzing the safety. And so now when you pull into something like that, they definitely needed and did not recognize what the play call was for the offense. And it prevented them from being able to have anybody in zone or in near the area where the catch was going to take place. And then on top of that, they didn't necessarily have to fully audible out, but they could have audibled out of the blitz and left the defensive back there to provide some more coverage, and it just didn't happen. But those mistakes happen. Let's get them out now against a Bears team, because next week you have a team that's going to be much harder to recover from mistakes from. So,
yes,
absolutely. And I think that the check down there for me was from a defensive coordinator standpoint. In my coaching career, where I would have said that I would want the safety to get hands on the number one to slow him down and then drift into the flats. So he's basically playing off press. So he'll press and then release. So I'm going to get really handsy with you, and then I'm going to just fuck off and I'm going to cover the flats.
Exactly.
Especially if I see a release from the number two receiver and he's breaking out, I can just let go and release with. Like you said, it does happen. It was just one of those head scratchers where I was like, oh my God, that was not a good play design. But for the most part, it wasn't a consistent theme with this team. Top Bowl's defenses are known for giving up a score early on. It's almost his MO. Every time I watch it, I believe he likes to watch what a team likes to do when they're having their success. So it's almost, I don't know if this is true. I'm probably not. But it almost feels like sometimes he's like, I'm going to let you have your little bit of fun because I get to see what you like to run when you're having success. And then I'm going to take it all the fuck away.
It very well could be a theory. I mean, I'm not going to argue against that. There are boxers who go into the ring and want to be defensive when they are in the first round so that they can see the exact, offensive tempo that the other fighter is going to provide. It could very well be his MO. I've never spoken bull, so I couldn't tell you that.
I'd love to get into that room. Just to lock horns and some of the stuff like cushion coverage. I know AJ's a huge hater of the cushion coverage, but I've also stated that the cushion coverage allows you to see the true route that's going to be run rather than if you're playing press or you're playing if you're playing off, then it's not so bad. But if you're playing way off, you see everything because there's nothing to hinder that player from running that route exactly how it's supposed to be run. So you get to see a little bit more, and maybe he's there like, yeah, they do this. Now it's later on. We can do this. The problem is good teams
They changed their game plan.
They change their game. They can adjust. They can change their game plan, and not only that, they will make you pay. So someone like the Bears, that you might be able to they'll have their 1 or 2 plays where they do really well, and they'll move the ball up the field, and then you'll cancel it and turn it into a field goal. Great, but teams like the Eagles or teams like the Niners, they'll turn them into touchdowns, and that's what you can't.
And I'm glad you said that. Another thing, both teams have defenses that can shut your offense down yet. This Bucs offense isn't ready yet. Now, I like how you said that, Jeremy. My only issue is with the cushion coverage for the Bucs. This isn't the 2021 Buccaneers where everything was all on. Everybody was on cylinders. Everybody knew their job. The offense could match the energy. You have to understand with this. I'm a person where I know you heard the Mike Tyson saying, everybody has a plan until they get hit. Sometimes I don't want to see your plans, because if I hit you in the mouth first and damage it, sometimes they might, as you said, people change. They might have to change their entire strategy because when they don't want to. Now, because for me, I like chaos on the line. Most quarterbacks in the league do not like going through that kind of progression, because they're scared to get hit. Like the Justin Fields that we saw yesterday was very idiotic. You're sitting in the pocket way too long. The gill sack, that was inexcusable. He is sitting there. Everybody knows you have to have a pocket presence. You get the hell out of there. You got that speed. Get the hell out of there. So but either way, my issue is yesterday the Bucs could have blown this Bears team out.
Absolutely.
And here's why. All their biggest plays came from zone coverages for the most part. Anytime the Bucs are in man, shit was going well. They were dominating for the most part. Anytime when the Bucs give up big plays, it's always cushion coverage because someone is out of place. Now, Jeremy, Slick is a great defensive coach. He'll tell you sometimes these guys, when you're out there and you really don't know what you're doing, that can mess you up. That's the death by 1,000 cuts. And luckily, the Bears are a bad team. But we go into Philly, we cannot play that way. Defensively, I want to smother you first and then see what's going to happen. I think if I was Bowles, I'd say, you know what, Bowles, how about you try this? Smother them the first time. And then let's say if we get a stop and the offensive scores, now play with them a little bit. See what they do now, because for all you know, they might change something into your favor because they got scared. Oh, shit. Well, we were going to do this, but let's try that. Now you're messing with them. Sometimes I want to see the Bucs punch the opponent in the mouth first and see how they react. You're right. You guys are both right. Bowles has a way of saying, this stung, but I got the medicine for that. But let's flip the script and say, do you have the medicine for this? Let's say if I want to see Vita or Levante pick them off and then Edmonds scores a touchdown 7-0. Now I want to see what you can do, because you're going to change it up. I guarantee you a lot of teams don't want to deal with this Bucs defense. That's why I want to talk to Colin Coward and Peter King of the world. Wait a minute. This Bucs defense sacked your quarterback 6 times. This Bucs defense kept DJ Moore on a leash. He had 100 yards, but those were garbage yards, in my opinion. Your running was not so stellar. No. We dominated, because I'll tell you this. Let the Bucs have lost against the Bears. It would have been, see, we told you the Bucs are phonies. They're a bad team. They're a terrible team. We knew this, because Colin Coward, I want to talk to him because he said, I got the Bears upsetting the Bucs. Are you out of your mind? What the hell? Slick and I, we are Buck fans, but Jeremy, we also like to be realistic too. We're football guys. I love, like you said, you're not being biased by saying you don't like Ohio State quarterbacks. It's a fact. They haven't won. It's like this. I'm an SEC guy. Most SEC quarterbacks never pan out to be great in the NFL. And the SEC is defense, wide receivers, running backs.
Yes.
That's it. Everybody knows when you go in the SEC, if you're gonna be a star and get paid, be on defense and play running back or wide receiver. We know this. What college people do you guys think produce the best quarterbacks? ACC, Pac-10?
ACC does a fairly decent job. Manning came out of the SEC. Brady came out of the Big Ten.
Big Ten. Joe Montana, Big Ten. Notre Dame.
I think what how do I phrase this? I wouldn't say that it's the quarterbacks. I'd say it's that the amount of attention that's given to someone who puts up big numbers. You put up big numbers in college, you end up being a first, second round pick at quarterback, but do you go to an offense that actually plays to your strengths? Also, there are quarterbacks at smaller schools who are not putting up numbers that are much more efficient.
Mhm.
And if they were given as much attention as a first round pick, I think some of those guys would pan out a lot better than people think.
Yeah,
But
I
you
agree.
know, I'm no expert, and I'm not gonna pretend to be. So
It's about the hunger of the player. There are how many players that we've seen throughout the history of the NFL that come out of nowhere. Our own Shaq Barrett was an undrafted guy, and look at what he has done for this. He's established himself. I love the fact as one of the defensive players that you have to know about.
absolutely.
They have to write about this guy on offensive coordinators have to go. That Shaq Barrett guys don't play with him. And speaking of Shaq played a phenomenal game, but I'm going to get to him a little later. What was your take on JTS, on Trianka? How did you like him this game?
I want to see it be consistent.
Okay.
Show me it next week and the week after. He was drafted pretty damn high. If he can continue to improve and he continues to show that aggressiveness, and I think with this current team and the current players that are on that line and the linebacker core behind, he can start being a real problem set for other teams, just like you said. He can develop into that guy that the other defensive coordinators pinpoint. Hey, when you're in there, center, you need to mark for the quarterback these three guys, and he may end up being one of those guys they got to mark. So did well. Everybody can improve. I mean that's a bowl saying to a T, right? Man, if he can keep going, he could be special.
I agree. And I also think Yaya is doing it. I like Yaya. I think he's doing just enough to be a rotator guy. If JTS comes around now, when Yaya comes in, that can mess up the entire whole thing for the offense. Like, damn, we got a speed guy. Now we got a guy who's a power man. Shit, how do we handle this?
So imagine if they come, they reach the level of potential that's pinned to their draft profile, right? And you're talking about wanting to punch people in the face immediately in games. There's the players to do it. They just have to execute.
Absolutely. I agree.
Slick, I want to ask you this. What was your take on who on defense, and you both can answer, but who on defense really showed you like, guys, he can excel to the next level?
Christian isn't by like a country mile. Like, this guy's got 2 picks straight away in 2 different games as well. So if it was just like he just had like we just saw like quite recently with the Jets that Whitehead got 3 picks and everyone's like, oh, why do we let this guy go? And I was like, he never had 3 picks for us.
Yeah,
he was not played to be that guy. He was played to be that extra man in the box that could punch you in the mouth. He was more known for getting fumbles than he was ever known for picking off the ball. That was Edwards' job. Edwards was the guy who come away with the picks. But to have a nickel that is undrafted free agent, you didn't spend any draft capital to bring him into your team, and he's the nickel position is a starting position in a lot of teams, and the nickel position he played 79% of the snaps, guys. That's how much production he had from tackles, from being around the football, and then finally finishing off. He had the interception that just killed the game. It was dead like that. Shaq Barrett had the knockout blow. This guy had that. It's done.
Yep.
That was the final nail in the coffin that they couldn't come back from. They would have had to have a ridiculous game to come back and win that game, and it was never going to happen. And then Christian Houston goes, "No, you're not even getting a chance to do that." And that's his interceptions aren't just interceptions; they are game critical ones. You look at the one against Minnesota. He rips that ball out from a receiver who's about to go and score on us, which probably potentially could have killed the game for us. And we're now there going, right, damage control time. Can we make this respectful almost? It's potentially possible that it could be in the realm of thinking. Or we figure it out, we go down and we have a bit more score, we'll get a bit more score savvy. But however, he takes that ball away and says, no, that's it, done. So that's his exclamation point. He comes into the next game and they go, right, we need to get points. We need to get into this game. He goes, no, You're not going to get into this game because I'm going to kill it off and we're going to kneel this shit out and we're going to walk away with another win. So he's been critical and he has been a clincher. That's what makes me like this guy so much. And it's mad that it's an undrafted free agent that's getting all this love. I mean, JTS was great. I echo exactly what you said, Jeremy. It's the same thing. He just needs more consistency. If we see this week in, week out, the pressure, I like what I see. And from JC Allen, I was going to say Pure Report, but he's with SI. He's with SI now. He was saying that this guy's ready for the next step. Like he wants it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be really interesting if he can really step into those shoes of who he was meant to be drafted to replace, and that's JPP.
Yeah. I mean, AJ used a term I love, and that's hunger, right? Like you're coming in undrafted, you have a chip on your shoulder, and the game is not even slowed down for him yet.
Nope.
His potential his potential's already exceeded his draft stock, obviously. But if he continues to play in such a manner, I mean, you're talking about maybe the steal of the non-draft, of the post-draft, whatever you want to call it, on the defensive side of the house. What does he have now? 3 pass deflections, 2 interceptions. His tackling percentage is high. The kid doesn't miss tackles. He finds space and he squares up against the runner in front of him. He's got football IQ, and like I said, I love AJ's word there, hunger. The kid has got hunger and a chip on his shoulder, so he's gonna start to really show what he's got as the game slows down for him and how much he really can bring to this team. He's just going to give us that one good problem at the end of this, and that's what kind of contract are you going to give him?
Yeah, I'm sure a guy like that, humble man, I think
he'll sign tenders, won't they, to begin with, and then
I think it'll be something moderate. Antoine Winfield showed me he's an elite.
That guy it's like he disappears and then reappears on the part of the field where the play's happening. Like he's always diving for something, always tackling at something. Like we said, we got some guys on this team that want to get paid, and the best way to make sure you get paid is to show up.
And that's what scares me and makes me upset at the same time, because anything less I see from him, my expectations for Winfield is so high now. He does everything right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he can't intercept the ball. He's going to knock the shit out of the guy, so he can't do it. That play where Kemet caught the ball and he goes for his hands to knock it out of bounds. I'm like, brilliant football, baby.
Mm-hmm.
That is brilliant football. The interception happened for Izzy because Winfield throws his body into the guy with the hands and knocks it in the air. Because if you look at it, what I loved and I thought was hilarious, the Bears, if you look at the receivers and the players, they thought the ball was just on the ground. They just stood up like, okay, next play. Didn't even realize Izzy had the ball. Now I seen Claypool, his reaction, like, oh shit, that's an interception. At Winfield, he's another one. I think he gets good respect, but I think it's gonna get to the point where he's playing that top 3 safety right now. I don't see that many other safeties better than Antoine Winfield, and he's only going to get better. And I think Bowles, he's giving him a chance to get back to who he is, his roots of his position. If Winfield stays healthy, my God, I just keep seeing it. And I think he's going to be, one of the biggest reasons why this defense comes away with a victory against Philadelphia. I just see something in him to where they're going to throw deep and they're going to test him. They're going to test him, and he's just going to fuck around and say, you know what? This is what you get. Yep. And a side note, Zion didn't play like shit.
No, he didn't.
This is what I mean.
He played much better than I expected him to play.
Yes.
I think we were all very pleased that when you hear that Colton Davis is out, that who else was out at the time?
Dean.
No, Dean was in. No, it was Kalijah Kancey. He was out, so that's one of your starters as well. So that's 2 starters out on your defense. It still gives you a cause for concern to have 2 starters out. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, Sebastian Dennis was also out. So when you have that and you think, we've seen Zion McCullum with a few of us have had head scratched and gone, I wasn't that impressed with him in the preseason, if I'm brutally honest. I thought there were other players that at the corner position that actually outplayed him, that didn't make the roster, that are on the practice squad, and I was a little bit like, I don't know about this. I like this other guy who shut down more people, but he definitely came to play today, yesterday, and I feel he was robbed of that interception. I don't know what you've got to do. It's like they're saying, oh, well, he didn't have control. Was the ball in his hands, and did he go out of bounds? That's all I got to say on it. But I understand going to ground. I get that. That's a different thing. But if the ball's in your hands, it doesn't matter if it's moving. You went out of bounds, so it doesn't matter. If you hit the deck and it pops out because it was moving around, then yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay with you ruling that not a non-catch. But if it's moving around and you've got your hands on it and you're doing this or you're tucking here or all this shit, and then you go out of bounds, it's still, in my opinion, it's an interception here. Both feet in, it's done.
He had both feet in. It was just because of who he was. If he was Jalen Ramsey, that shit would have been an interception. If he was Marshawn Lattimore, that shit's an interception. Yep. And speaking of the stupid ass slimy Saints, the Taints, they won 20-17. But I want to go what Christopher was saying about this team. I know we're not overlooking the Eagles. Just so you Buck fans chill out on that. But I like what he said. Saints are not scoring 17 points on his defense unless we have a lot of injuries. Exactly. And I think, you know what, guys? I honestly think Kancey, I think we weren't overly confident, but we had a way where we just had a thought where Kancey, you're not needed for this game. If you think about it, Vita Vea wreaked havoc by himself. I like the fact that, hey, we had so much talent. We didn't need that. Carlton Davis, if he is healed, I think this is why I think Kancey will be another game factor against the Philadelphia, in my opinion, because that's speed. I don't think Hurts is ready for that because Vita is going to plug them up. They're going to double him. We know that already. I do like the Eagles line, but I don't think this Eagles line is ready for someone like Kancey with explosiveness. And as you guys stated, if JTS is consistent in this game, it can be a long day for the Eagles because Hurts is going to want to run. We know that already. He's going to want to run, but I do like the fact that I'm not impressed with the Saints right now. I'm really not impressed with them at all. And I want to tell people this isn't the Brady era anymore because a lot of people saying, oh, the Saints are going to give the Bucs a hard time. Not like you think. No. First off, Baker is mobile.
Yeah, big time.
Baker's mobile. What are you gonna do? Cam Jordan ain't shit anymore. He's a situational guy now. Yep. Now, because somebody said earlier, well, the Saints haven't given up touchdowns. They haven't played anybody either. We know the Panthers are a bad team. Tennessee is a bad team. It's one of those things to where a lot of people, I tell people, do not think of when the Bucs play the Saints this season that this is a Brady organization. The Saints do not know how to handle the Bucs just yet because Baker is mobile. That makes things that changed the game. So I just had to throw that out there because I saw people saying Derek Carr is doing such a good job. Not really. Derek Carr he
held on the ball too long today, got sacked 4 times.
Exactly. I'm not impressed.
2 in 1 sitting.
Yeah, I'm actually just happy the Bucs said, nah, not only Derek Carr. You know, at first I thought, but then Slick tells me he had Devontae, he had Waller, he had Jacobs. I'm not impressed anymore about that. But anyway, I just had to talk about them punk ass taints. I want to get back. Let's get back to Shaq Barrett, a guy who tore his Achilles last season. Mm-hmm. It has just come back. He's had trials and tribulations in his personal life. We're not going to go there, but we don't need to explain it. But look at what he has overcome now. In your opinion, shouldn't he be considered one of the comeback players of the year if he continues this type of level of play?
Oh, absolutely. If this continues throughout the season, he has to be in the top notch. But you guys, I know that won't happen because we're not a media darling. That's not the Buccaneers. And I think like if you asked Barrett if he wanted to be comeback player of the year, he'd be like, yeah, that'd be cool, but I'd rather have a ring. You know, it's not something that's going to concern him. And you define someone as being successful or someone who is overcome as much as what he's trying to overcome at this point in time. Each little success piles upon itself, and the momentum that you start to gain, it can be overwhelming for whoever you're going up against. And I think this could be one of those years where he is just like unstoppable. But
I agree.
We'll see.
That interception was brilliant.
Oh,
I mean, dumbass pass by Justin, but the way that
That was well read. Like they apparently the entire team knew what they were going to run.
yeah,
that's what they were saying. Yeah,
I just love that, the way he grabbed it and the way that the team knocked him in. That was a camaraderie. I know people.
I think that shows you how much they wanted it, because it'd be quite easy just to fall on the floor and just take the interception, and then it's like 5 yards, 3 yards, whatever. Yeah. But no, he stays up. Everyone else gets behind him, and they push and they push and they push. They push him all the way into the end zone. And I want to give a shout out to the referees for not fucking blowing up early, because they tend to have a habit of doing this shit. Because once they blow a whistle, it don't matter what happens after it. It is done. Even if they blow a whistle by accident, it's done.
And I want to give another, and I want everybody to hear this. I want the aftermath on 102.9, the Game Broad Street South Radio. That push was a metaphor. I know I'm about to get preachy, but that was a metaphor, because they were pushing for success for each other. I don't. Now, maybe the defense last year probably would have done that, but that was a team effort. I say that because look who else came out on the field to congratulate them. That was number 13, Mike Evans. Not even a part of the damn defense.
No.
Man out there, I was like, this is what I'm talking about. This Bucs team, fellas, this ain't this team from last year. They know they shit the bed last year. They know that they were distracted. They know coaches were messing up. The organization knows that. This year is different. They're playing with humility and hunger. It's, you know what, guys?
This contract get a little bit cheaper when you're successful too.
Yes.
You got the hometown discount where you don't pay any state tax, and you're on a good team. Now it's kind of like, yeah, but I could go to Buffalo or wherever, but I'm paying state tax. I'm playing for a team that's good. Or you could even go down the alley of going playing for a really poor team and get more money, but you're not playing for a good team. So you're not playing for legacy anymore. You're playing just for money.
And you're miserable.
You're hired hand, or whatever you want to call it, mercenary, whatever. But you stay on this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team. You've been to the playoffs. Let's say, for the sake of argument, we speak it into existence, and the Buccaneers go to the playoffs for another year. That's 4 years in the playoffs. Potential Division Two divisions
champion.
Division champions. So they'll, let's say they walk away with the we walk away with the division. So we got three back-to-back division championships.
Yep.
That's the Buccaneers have never done that. They never done it. They've not done back-to-back before, I don't believe.
Never. And I'm speaking it to existence because it's facts. Now, Jeremy Slick. He has the Bucs winning 10 best case. My best case scenario is between 10 to 12, and here's why: the scheduling is in our favor. The only team that right now I'm writing off as a immediate L is San Fran. We do not have enough yet. We won't be able to beat San Fran until our offense is complete. And by the time we play them, we're not going to be there just yet. So that's it. The Bills, I'm not set, because if Josh Allen turns into Winston, the Bucs will capitalize off of that. I'm not sold on Detroit anymore. Detroit still has a ways to go.
I've not seen enough from their offense to make me go, "Wow, they're a good team."
Yeah, they can't win.
They played against a team that had no weapons. Defensively, they won the game because they got a pick six that finished it off. Offensively, they did nothing, and this had everyone turn around and said, "Without Chris Jones, they are dog shit." Well, it wasn't enough to make the Lions look good. It wasn't enough to make the Lions look good.
No, that's why I said 10 to 12, Jeremy. And I do think the Bucs will get into the playoffs. And better yet, if the Bucs get in the playoffs, they don't want to see this team with this offense if it continues to progress. Look at Mike Evans. Somebody said, I think Dude said earlier, with his trajectory, he's projected to get to 2,000 yards or 14, 15. Now, we know he won't do that, but it's not far-fetched anymore to say that Evans might not get
on the cards.
He could get 15 to 1,600 yards.
Absolutely.
And 10 to 12 touchdowns because of how good this offense is going to get, and they're throwing him the damn ball. So that's why I was saying to people, watch out for this Bucs team. I tell you this, the Bucs beat the Eagles, sky's the limit. Saints are in trouble. The Saints do not want to play a Bucs team that beats a team that the NFC. And let us beat this team. I say this, let's say hypothetically we beat the Eagles by 10 or more points. Saints don't want that. They don't want that. Hell, the Bucs are catching people at the right time. Like I said, if you look at the schedule, the teams that look like they're supposed to win, they're not looking so hot. Remember, people were talking about the Jaguars thing, and me and you both said, we got to see more. And we saw what the Jaguars are doing. Now, it could change to when we play them, but I haven't seen anything. Like, Jeremy, if you had to say right now, and I'll just throw out the 49ers, what other team do you see right now that will just flat out, okay, this is going to be a flat out win to beat the Bucs?
So I'd say the number one team in the NFC right now is the 49ers. That's a clear-cut choice, I think, at this point. As we roll into this week against the Eagles, I'm not seeing the Eagles' offense as potent this year as it was last year. Remember, they lost their offensive coordinator. He's now the head coach for the Colts. And I feel as though, and I haven't pulled the numbers and looked at the stats yet, that they're asking too much of Hurts. That he is running far more often, or at least in a trajectory to run far more often this season than he did last season.
And that's what we want, because
exactly.
Yes, exactly. See,
he booked around and he found out.
Yeah,
and Brown and AJ is not. I think that shit is boiling a lot more than what the media and what the Eagles are going to tell you, because AJ Brown is frustrated. He's like, I'm a good. And the thing is, I really do think Hurts wants to get him the rock. He just doesn't know how to yet. This is why I told people, me and Slick said this, Jeremy. We said, hold on the Hurts thing. We like Hurts, but Hurts has got to show me that he can be a quarterback first and not a running back. Because that's what, when we already know this. The league is all about adjusting. We're going to adjust to that shit. Hurts, you're not going to be running around anymore like that anymore, especially against a Bucs defense with all that speed.
The speed in the linebacker core, let him run. Levante David's just going to turn a corner, and he's going to smash him at the line of scrimmage, and quickly it's going to turn into, can he actually get the ball to Brown?
And here's the thing: I bet you Hurts would rather have Levante hit him than Devin. If Devin hits him, he might not get back up.
Devin goes for the devastation hit, whereas Levante gets you down.
Yeah, exactly.
He'll probably rip the ball out on the way down, but he won't hurt you.
Right.
You'll get to play again. You'll get rocked if you get Devin hitting you.
Yeah, Devin hits you. Again, we've said this, Jeremy. We're not wishing his existence, but if Hurts doesn't get it together as a quarterback, he's one injury away from destroying this entire Eagles team. If Hurts is out for 5 to 6 weeks, that's the Eagles season right there. Because as Washington's coming up, Dallas.
He's one injury away from being
RG3.
RG3, thank you. Yeah.
Robert Bobby Griffin. Yeah, exactly. And that's why Slick and we would always say this. The NFC is literally up for grabs. San Fran is your only person you got to go through. And with Purdy in the playoffs, we have an advantage, because remember, Purdy got hurt. So we don't know how he can handle playoff pressure. We don't know that. We've seen it. How many teams you've seen look like they have a good season regular, when the playoff come on, next thing you know, shit, I ain't ready for this.
One of the 4 best teams in the NFC. And all we have to do is be one of those 4. And then we'll go into the playoffs and we're probably going to win a playoff game. If someone told me at the beginning of the season that the Buccaneers are going to go without Tom Brady, that we were going to go and win our division and win a playoff game, I would probably say, don't be fucking stupid. We're probably going to and I mean, no disrespect, I thought we'd be a team that would scrape into the playoffs and probably lose, like we did last year. That's kind of where I saw us at. But right now, I'm optimistic. I'm feeling it all. I'm enjoying it all. I've always said that this defense is going to carry the team for a while. AJ, you said at the beginning of the season, don't expect too much from this offense. We haven't expected too much, but it's actually been better than we thought. Yes, we beat upon a Bears team, but their defense was decent. I'll give them their due. Their defense did their due diligence. They were a decent defense. They weren't a bad defense at all. Offensively, yeah, they were poor. They had one good. They have two good drives. One of them was a dead drive. One was a garbage time drive, and the one was at the beginning of the season. You take those two drives away, they did absolutely nothing.
Yep.
Nothing, nada. Like you said, that if Bowles starts to get a little more meaner, it could be a long day for this. I said this from the beginning, Jeremy. I said the Bucs got a shot. People were saying, "Oh man, you're just saying that because you're a Bucs fan." No, I'm saying that because I know what Baker can bring. Baker changed my whole output when I saw him and with the Rams, because he could have just shit the bed there and said, "I'm just here for a paycheck."
Absolutely.
The way he was playing. He played like, no, somebody is going to either LA sticks with me or somebody's going to look at me. I said, wow, this is what we need. This is what the kind of guy we want. And I saw the talent, and then the draft showed me, oh, this Bucs team is playing. They're not playing for Caleb Williams. They're playing because they got a squad. And Mike Evans is showing us why. Mike Evans is a perfect example of being patient and humble. Mm-hmm. This guy might actually, with Baker, might have the best statistics of his career.
Realistically, that's what we need, because you got to think about it. If we want to keep him here, he's going to go, hang on. If I go back to they didn't get my contract sorted the way I wanted to, and blah, 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 blah. We know that deadline passed and what have you. But if we walk away with a season where we win the division and we win a playoff game, and he goes off and has one of his better or best seasons of his career, he's not too busy thinking, I need to go to another team. He's there thinking, if I play out here and they keep Baker, I can continue my legacy. I can continue staying in Tampa. I'm tax-free, so it doesn't matter. Like, there's a big difference in money. So it's all well and good going somewhere like, let's say the Bills want him, yeah? They pay state tax. That's a chunk of your money that you give up. You're going to give a shit ton to your agent because you pay your agent. You're also going to give a shit ton to the government because you just state tax. You don't have to give up anything. Your contract. Let's say that I don't know what the state tax is in New York. If I'm brutally honest, it's not my thing because I don't live there, so I don't care. But let's say it's 10%. 10% of 20 million is a chunk of change, right?
I can tell you that already. It's not, because in Virginia itself is 20%.
There you go. So this is my point, guys.
And let's talk about intangibles for a moment too, right?
Yes, sir.
We're sitting here talking about how Baker's mobile. And he's making some accurate throws now. He's comfortable, and he's getting into a rhythm. But let's talk about those leadership qualities. When Brady left, the big expectation was that the leadership would be gone too, that the hunger. We've seen teams collapse after winning and then not winning the season after, as players all sought to go find more money. Squabbling happened. And you bring in players like a Chris Baker who's doing weird things to trees, and and those teams they fester with the bad attitude. They were talking last week about how much they've bought in with Baker.
You could
because
see
of his leadership in the locker room, and
he's
because
got that pucky attitude that kind of just, and that moxie that just sticks. It's like it's a different type of leadership. It's almost like, fuck everyone, let's go fight.
It was like the stiff arm in week 1. He's backpedaling away from the defender to go back in the formation. He's telling the guy to hit the weights.
Get your weight up, boy.
Yeah, get your weight up, boy. He's a fiery competitor.
But,
and then on top of that, he brings back that hunger. He hasn't won anything.
I think everyone on this team likes having him.
And he makes them play with a chip on their shoulder. He's like, guys, I know what they've been saying about you. Look at what they've been saying about me. Look at what they've been saying about us. We're going to whoop their ass. And look, even when they give us compliments, it's a, yeah, whatever. I love what Baker said about Peter King. He said, yeah, he's been saying a lot of things about me, and it's wrong. Peter King is just being a hater. We know a lot of these guys are still on the Brady tit train. We love Brady. We know he's the GOAT. But that doesn't always mean that the GOAT is going to be great and everything. And it doesn't always mean he's a fit for everybody's offense. That's why I really want to talk about this Saints thing, because a lot of people are saying they're going to give – if you think the Saints are going to give the Bucs a problem just because of how they were under the Brady regime, you're in for a rude awakening. It's not going to be that way.
Look, if they had Sean Payton, I can with Derek Carr, I can see why there'd be pause for concern. But this is Dennis Allen.
Exactly.
Dennis Allen with him, right? And I don't even know who their offensive coordinator is.
And you got to remember,
it ain't Peyton.
When you bring in a new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, you bring in your key coordinator, a new one, and they've developed a new system. The team is, in a sense, 50% new.
Same as
We're
that.
going from Leftwich to Dave, and now this team is not the offense that it once was, and it's run by a different player who has a different dynamic, and the play calling is being utilized in a manner that plays to his strengths. We're seeing a lot more purposeful design of wide receiver routes that provide those 3 layers in which to attack the defense, which develops open space for him to do a check down when he needs to do a check down, or to be able to drop the ball deep. And then on top of that, let's pretend like they have full-fledged coverage for that particular play. He has the wheels to get out of the basket and be able to either run it himself or scramble for enough time that a wide receiver, because a cornerback's not going to be able to cover for X amount of seconds once a quarterback starts scrambling. So the dynamic is shifted for this offense. There is no statuesque individual in the pocket anymore who must release the ball within 2.5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a concern. Now,
Yeah.
I will say this. Historically, Baker's been bad with his numbers when it comes to being pressured. I haven't seen that yet this season.
Nope. He's the second best QB being pressured.
Yep.
And that lends itself to the offensive scheme that's now in place here.
Amen. And then
you see, like the moment the pocket starts to break down, it's almost like he has somebody in his back mind that he's like, I'll just give it to you. And then if you don't get anything out of it, then okay, nothing bad. The amount of the one thing I say, especially in the Minnesota game when they're putting pressure on him, the amount of throws that he just throws away, just throws them away. No, I'm not going to try it. I'm not going to do it. There's no running lane for me. I'm just going to throw this away and I'm going to live another down. The only thing I would say, my only concern was he does tend to try and throw short of the sticks a little too often. But that could be play design. And a lot of the time he did get away with it where he's given it to like a Cade Otton who bullies it to the line. And therefore we get a return on that. So at the same time, it's not a bad thing. It's just the only one wrinkle I would say in his game. Like he started slow. The biggest wrinkle was he started slow, but now that seems to have kind of evaporated to a degree. He's not turning the ball over. He's being thoughtful with the ball, and he's always trying to find somebody. And his Houdini-ness of ducking out and people have got him and then just shooting up the field against something. He's not running straight into contact. He's being smart with the ball. I haven't really seen him slide too much, but he does tend to dive at the floor or just go down or run straight out of bounds and what have you. So I've been nothing but impressed by what he's put together so far. And yeah, historically, he's known for. Derek Carr's not known for being too great either. This guy had double-digit interceptions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times in his career. So let's pump the brakes on how great this guy actually is. And right now, he'll be coming up to face a Buccaneers team unless he sorts his shit out. He's 1 interception for 1 touchdown and 305 yards. That's nothing to write home about for a quarterback position when they tell us that they got Chris Olave, that they got a tight end, that they got slant boys back. That I would expect to be a bit more impressed.
Exactly.
And you walk away with 305 yards and 1 touchdown and an INT, and you're getting sacked a fair few times. So it's not a testament to how good he is right now. I've never been that sold. I don't think he's a bad quarterback at all, but I've also never turned around and said that he's that good.
No.
Right. He's never been that guy. He's never been that guy, Slick. And that's the thing. It's just people care for him because of his personality. Yep.
He's likable.
Yeah, he's a likable person. He's that person on the job. You like him, but he still just don't get right. He can't get right. It's like he just can't get right, but his heart's in the right place.
Yeah.
You said it best. I don't see shit though. I'm not impressed. They damn near let the The Panthers come back and win. What does that tell you about this team? It's just a lot of talk on paper. And you were saying it earlier already about when it comes to they can't. In my opinion, they're not ready for the weapons either. They've never faced Palmer. Now, people will say, well, Palmer's Scotty. He's nothing like Scotty. First of all, he can catch in contested catches. He can be utilized in all kind of ways. And again,
I've not seen him catch just a go route yet.
Yeah,
primarily he doesn't just catch go routes, which is the MO of Scotty. Yeah, this guy is caught. His touchdown that he scored wasn't that. It was an in-breaker. It was an in-breaking route. And every other touchdown that we've seen him catch for the Buccaneers in the preseason, they were more intermediate routes. They weren't like there was breaks in his movement. They weren't just go routes, and he just went, just mastered.
He's got a nice little double move to cut inside for a slant to the inside, and
exactly.
It's just
difficult work.
Yeah. And now one thing I do want the offense to, I want Canales to bring more is crossing routes. This is the perfect scheme. This is the perfect offensive weapon to do that shit. Get some crossing routes and shallow crossing routes. Like, I got to play right now, guys. Picture this. You got Palmer and Evans on the right side, and you got a corner that gives Palmer too much space. Now, look at it like this. Palmer, I want you to take 3 steps up and then do a quick out route this way. That corner is going to have to go that way because of your speed. And hell, if you beat him, if the safety doesn't react, now he can lob it and he can catch it. Or here's the blanket. Evans runs a shallow crossing route if they play a zone. Now you got Evans with a clear slant route coming because we know anytime Evans one-on-one, you go to him. That's an insult. But I'm telling you, crossing routes will work against the Eagles and the Saints because the Eagles and the Saints, their front seven, they have a lot of faith in them getting to quarterbacks. Like the Eagles, they're younger, and they have a lot of depth, so they're more of a concern. I'm not concerned about the old-ass Saints anymore. Demario Davis is still there. Cool.
I think we've got a good enough defense that will keep them in the game until
if we can get explosive like we did and start to build a score, I think we could wrap it up. The issue I have is if we start slow, we might play to their speed, and that will mean it'll be whoever wins defensively. That's what I think it will come down to. Yeah. If we start early and we start fast early, and I know we're looking ahead, we're looking way ahead right now. We're already looking a game ahead, but I feel that's the vibe with this Saints team. I don't think they're built to win if they're 2 scores down. I just exactly. 100%. I actually feel like that's
they take shots early and be brutal. Yeah. Force them to have to bite back.
If we're being honest, that's the Eagles right now. We just talked about how their passing is not up to par. Hurts can't afford to go down. I think they can afford to go down 10-0. They can't afford to go down 14-0.
No.
Because Hurts at that point, now he's going to have to play
desperate.
He's going to have to
and what does he do when he plays desperate? He runs.
Exactly.
He As soon as they were behind and he knew it was almost like he could feel the pressure on his shoulders, like, I've got to pick up this team. And once you have that mentality as a quarterback, I'm going to pick up this team, you won't make throws because you're going, I'll do it with my feet. I'll do it with my feet because you'll get a little bit of success. And that's the problem. You kind of want him to have 1 or 2 good runs where he gets a first down or something like that, just so he's like, I'm going to run again. I'm going to run again. And you go, well, no, you're not, because we're going to actually shut you the fuck down. It's almost like baiting the hook, you know? I'm not saying you've got to let him get it, but you've got to like let him think he can get something. Like, make it appear that it's there. Like, they obviously did the same thing. Like, Hurts is a better thrower than, say, Fields, right? That's a fact. But he is surrounded with a little bit more talent. We've seen that. We saw what he was like in his early years where he didn't have as much talent around him. And they went, you know what? Let's just surround him with talent and see what we got. And what they got was pretty darn good. And we're okay. And that's good for him and good for the Eagles. But what you want to do is get him to think that he needs to put the team on his back and run it. Because once you do that, you got him being one-dimensional. And that's easier to defend.
And Bowles will shadow him with either White or David, depending on down and situation. And those are two individuals who have speed to match.
Agreed.
Now, on the other side of the ball, you mentioned someone earlier that I think this is the next step for the offense. I think what you're going to start seeing is Canales is going to start wrinkling in some more tight end material. We haven't seen much Cade Otton, and he's shown flashes of some greatness. And you mentioned Cade Otton being that go-to dump route occasionally for Baker, but I think if you start putting in some Cade Otton wrinkles, a drag across the middle, a slant route for himself, or a nice chip shot against that that attacking defender, and let him to roll out to the outside for somewhat of a screen. I would predict that Canales starts to wrinkle in that tight end position now a little bit more too. And now that you have added the fourth layer of that offensive production, the offensive playbook is going to start looking very aggressive when it's not actually that aggressive. And so those big plays are going to start to open up, intermediate's going to open up, and we're going to start seeing a lot less of the shallow route material.
Agreed.
Cade Otton gave himself 41 yards last night with 6 receptions, so he's starting to get more and more. And I completely agree. It's someone that's under the radar that no one's going to go mental on. He might be that secret weapon, that ace in the hole that you just go, yeah, I see you covering up Mike Evans. I see you covering up this gentleman here, and I see that you're starting to slow down our run game a little bit, but you ain't seen this yet.
Agreed. That is a Cade Otton. We've talked about this a lot, Jeremy. We said Cade Otton could be who is that guy? You have a coach going, who the hell is that? What happened? I thought you said that he was a scrub.
Maybe Trey Palmer. Trey Palmer could also be that guy. It's one of those where you could actually, sometimes it takes sometimes in games, when they do those paid fantasies where you get given a lot of money, and then you pick up players and they all have a price, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
The way you win those is by selecting that one player that costs a nickel that you feel is just going to pop off, because you can't buy elites because you're given a set budget, right? So you can't go, I'll take Aaron Rodgers, and I'll take this guy, and I'll take that guy, and I'll take this stud, and I'll take that stud, and it will come together. No, you have to be mindful with your money. You've got to go, well, this guy's going to go off, this guy's going to go off. But I also think this Trey Palmer kid, I think he's going to eat tonight. And then you put that, and he costs like the $1 or whatever, yeah? And he goes out, he gets himself a 100-yard game and 2 touchdowns, and everyone's like, oh my God, this kid. And that's how you win those matchups sometimes, is where that one person that nobody thinks is good enough, Christian isn't, obviously might not be getting the respect that he deserves, and they keep throwing that way, and that's why he's getting these picks, potentially. I do also think that he's just matching up the way he's supposed to, but as an offensive coordinator, who's new on the team? They got this new nickel. He's undrafted free. Let's make him play. Let's make him pay. Oh, shit. He caught the ball. Now we look foolish. He might find that then people might not target his way anymore for a while. It's just one of the things.
That's true. If you think about it, they want to. I'm wondering, who are they going to try to? I think this game, they're going to try to, the Eagles will try to get Devontae Smith going. Now, I think they'll force some things to A.J. Brown, but I think they're right now looking at Devontae's explosiveness. But you know what I would tell Eagles fans for pause? This ain't the Vikings defense. Throw that shit out the door. Because you remember how Devontae was just having his way later on? It's like,
but look, they finished that game. It was tighter than it's supposed to have been. They should, if the Vikings are as bad as everyone thinks they are, the Vikings had no right being in that game.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. I do think that they're going to use Devontae, but I like Devontae on Dean. I like that. I love that match because they both have speed, but Dean can recover. I like A.J. Brown and Carlton matchup more because if Hurts doesn't throw to his side and my man CD3, if he comes back and he's locking him down, he's going to get pissed. He's going to go, come on.
Yep.
And that's another thing. The Bucs, the run game is effective. This offense is chewing up clock that I'm not accustomed to seeing. They are literally the definition of punt, body shot, then a haymaker. Each time the Bucs are just chewing the hell out of that clock. And it's frustrating to teams. I could sense it. That Bears game when there was one drive where I think we shoot up like 7 minutes. You could see the frustration on the defense.
Mhm.
They were literally like, "Come on, we got to."
That's how you beat good teams. You don't
Yeah.
let them have the ball. So if you can walk away with a score, even if it's a 3, you're constantly keeping that scoreboard ticking over, and they're just like, oh, we need the ball. And if they sputter and they have a 3 and out, or they have like one, they run a 6-play drive or what have you, and they kick the ball back to you, that's a wasted possession for them because they've burnt like maybe 2 minutes, and then you're going to do another 5 to 7 minute drive, and they're like, oh my god, and they come away with 3 points again. Now we have to be lethal. Now time's running out for us. So you play more desperate football.
It seems like the offensive and defensive schemes are finally working the way that Todd Bowles wanted them to.
Yes, I think
after we heard all the drama with the Leftwich situation, that this team is playing what Bowles envisioned. And I think as that playbook opens up some more, and we also probably should discuss the depth at running back that's not there anymore. But if this team continues to roll and play what we know as Todd Bowles' actual idea of what this team should be, they'll be pretty hard to beat.
Yeah, I agree. They're in sync. They're complementing. Now we can honestly say, like, if the season continues to progress offensively, we can honestly say, Bowles, okay, you were stuck with Byron, even though we still have our opinions, but now it's no excuses. And Bowles is taking more risk. He's getting more, blunt, and that's what we want. Now, if he can cut down this dumbass cushion coverage, then he's got my vote for the coach of the year. Because now, and I know we're getting way ahead of ourselves, but this is not out of the realm anymore. And I told people this when I saw the schedule. The Bucs going to the bye week 4-0, Jeremy. Now the media if the Bucs beat the Eagles, then
they'll be looking at other teams who are going to be. Oh well, I don't know if they'll play good against this team. That's what's going to happen. They've never played so great against the Saints, but we would have, if we go 4-0, we would have already beaten the Saints.
Exactly.
Are we at home when we play the Saints, or are we away?
We're away.
Okay,
we're away.
So that makes if we walk away with that one, that is like you've done the difficult one out of the two, right?
Yep.
Yes,
exactly. And now you go in 4-0. Now that's when, like I said, we beat this Eagles team tonight. I mean, Monday. Now it's oh shit. Well, I saw a little bit in Baker. I told you guys.
Yeah.
Somebody's gonna come out and go. No. You heard what I said. I said if the Bucs do this, then Baker can do that, and I'm gonna be right there on their ass and go. Y'all ain't say shit. I don't want to hear nobody in the media gave Baker a chance. You thought he was washed. Colin Cowherd said if he can't start over Trask, you know what? What if because of if he has a successful season, it's because of Canales making Trask and Baker battle. Now, Jeremy Slick talked about that in full depth. He said there's a reason why you want two guys to fight for a position, so both can feel like they have earned it. When you give it to somebody, like, let's be real, Brady was never going to have to earn a spot because of his accolades already. But that hunger wasn't there because he had outside shit. Byron was in over his head. So when you come in, this team, everybody's coming in feeling humble and hungry. Devin White on his Instagram said he's sorry for even thinking about, he feels stupid of wanting to leave this team. That. Yeah. And I don't, somebody can say it's trolling or he's capping. For him to say that makes me feel good. Now I go, oh shit. So he might be a reasonable individual by the end of the season saying, hey, look, I'll take your $60 million if that means the squad can stay put. Because somebody's gonna have to take a pay cut.
I'm not opposed to players looking at what they can get in free agency. Again, like I said, we have no state tax. So we can make a contract smaller or on par, and they have to offer more. Like other places have to offer more. And on top of that, it's I don't have to uproot my family or uproot where I run from. I know a lot of people commute, they commute, or they have like an apartment in Tampa and what have you, and then they on the weekends or whatever they go back, or sorry, the weekdays they might go back, but they spend so much time at the facility. They live during the season in Tampa, and then in the off season they go and live in New Orleans or wherever they're from, right? That's usually how it goes. Not having to uproot your family, not having to push anything around and still get paid. You can check your market value. I don't think Devin White's market value is as high as he thinks it is, because he's an ego guy. Like there's nothing wrong with that. It's just like, you have faith in your abilities. You think you deserve something. You'll get humbled when you see people not throwing checkbooks at you, and then you go, "Oh, okay, I'm not as." Then I'll stick with the Bucs because they've given me a reason. They've given me a reasonable offer. They gave me a reasonable offer from the start. They weren't trying to lowball me, because I've seen everyone else has just turned around and gone, "This is how much we think you are." And he's gone, "Yeah, but that's Tennessee, and I don't really want to go to Tennessee. They're shit."
I think out of the big name free agents, we're going to have to lose one, I think. I haven't crunched the numbers yet. I haven't looked at that yet. That's, a little farther down the road. But if you think about it, Baker plays well, you're going to have to pay Baker.
Yep.
Evans wants a contract. If the team doesn't do well and Evans walks, the fan base will be so irate that the hot seat under the GM and head coach starts to get a little hotter than it probably would normally be if it wasn't such a key player to this organization.
Oh yeah, well that season's going to get hot either way if they don't have a successful season, because Bowles can't say if Bowles. Now we've discussed it before, Jerry, but we said if Bowles' defense falls out of the top 10, oh yeah, he's in trouble. Big time trouble.
Absolutely.
He's in super
Especially
trouble.
if the offense starts to really click, because people are going to start looking at Dave Canales as a head coaching candidate, and then the Buccaneers are forced to make a decision. Who are they going to keep? Are they going to keep the guy who's had the work with the quarterback? Because they might be going, well, we'll marry. We saw it happen with Dirk Cutter and Jameis Winston. They were like, we'll go with the guy who's grooming the quarterback of the future, right? And it didn't pan out or what have you, but that is a mindset that people might look at, because they're like, okay, we got this. At the same time, does that defense become diminished because it doesn't have that Todd Bowles stamp? But then do you keep the other coaches that are still in place? Maybe you move on from Coach Bowles, but you keep his staff. They know how Coach Bowles likes to run his stuff, so they go, you just keep doing that Coach Bowles stuff, and we'll see what happens.
Right. So if anything, Bowles wants to have a good season. Bowles wants everybody.
I think that if here's my one bit, and I'll finish with this because it's starting to get a little bit late for me.
Okay.
If the Buccaneers are having a bad season by the trade deadline, they will trade Mike Evans. That's my theory.
Agreed.
They may as well get something for him if they're having a bad. If you're going to have a season where you're not going to walk away with nothing, organizations tank, team coaches and players don't. So they will go, we're getting rid of him because we want something for him, because we're looking for the future. We're going to try and make something work. But there's no point in keeping him on the team. In their mind, from an owner's point of view, there is no reason to keep him on the team. You may as well get something for him. And I disagree with it, but logically and how the business mind works, if we're having a shit season, you may as well see what you can get for him.
Facts.
There is one alternate, right? You want to lure in the next, let's say Baker's not the guy. Let's say they need to move on from the coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
You need something to lure in the next individual.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mike Evans may be that shiny object that they say, okay, I've got a Chris Godwin, I got a Mike Evans, I got a Palmer, I got an Otten. All right, there are tools here to be utilized. So the counterbalance to this is you have to find the right people, and you have to be a desirable location to end up with a new coach or a new quarterback. And Mike Evans is a big piece of that draw.
I agree, because it was one of the reasons Brady came here. So it's all how the ownership looks at it, and the conversations that happen between GM and ownership. But if we're poor, I could see them moving on from Mike Evans. But I don't think we're going to be poor by the trade deadline. That's week 7?
Yeah, I think so. I think week 8.
Week 8. We're already 2 wins in. If we walk in and we go into the bye week at bare minimum, and I always feel like we've already achieved the bare minimum right now.
Exactly.
For the bye week. If we go into the bye week 2-2, I could live with it, because I know there are easier teams down the line.
Yep.
So I'm not too stressed. I believe this team has been in positions where they've had to fight back and win their divisional crown or scrape into the playoffs. But in the season that we won the Super Bowl, we did have that 4-game losing streak that can normally kill a team. I believe this team is conditioned enough to not let that kind of shit break them down and go further and further down the minefield. I believe this team is strong enough to just go, you know what, that's 2 games that we were dog shit, let's go get the rest. And that's what I think. So I don't think we're going to be bad by the trade deadline. I could quite easily see the Buccaneers with 2 losses by the trade deadline.
I agree.
And I know it is getting a little late for you, Slick. We'll call it a night because this has been a hell of a thing. But before we do, Jeremy, can we let the people know where they can follow you and get your content, and if you have anything coming up, because we know it's fire.
Oh, it's all at bucksreport.com, and you can find me on, I guess it's X now instead of Twitter, at BucksSalty. And I'll be working on another evaluation, an update to that Canales piece. I already touched on some of the things that I'll touch on in there. I'm looking at things that this team is going to be looking for in the future here in order to facilitate getting to where they need to be. There are some free agents out there that could be viable options for the Buccaneers, so I might touch on that here shortly as well. So, being back in the States and actually being able to watch football at not 2 a.m. for the past 3 years, it makes this a lot easier for sure.
Where were you before?
Japan.
Oh, yes, I remember. Yeah, that's got to be a crazy one. I think it's sometimes tough for me, but 2 a.m. is the start for even the early games. I gotta imagine what the night games are like for you.
Oh no, you got to think about it this way: it's a 13-hour difference. So your Sunday night game is while I'm at work.
Ouch.
Yep, I can believe it.
Fun times.
Yes.
Good to have you on the show, man. Much appreciated. You're always welcome. Any of the Bucs Report shows, you know that. Just come, let us know you come in, and we'll get it down. I really enjoyed chopping it with you, and we'll catch you soon, brother.
Awesome. I appreciate you guys. Thanks.
No problem. Take care. Take it easy.
You too.
Brother. Yes. And as for me, I will bow out as well. Always, again, thank you for tuning in on the Aftermath at 102.9. The game Broad Street. The Broad Street South Game Radio, and you can always catch me on my YouTube channel. It's about Buck and Time. Also, check out my social media platform, AJ Turnup, and you can go to the link and you can cop this nice gear right here. Respect the process always, and as always, go Bucks.
Go Bucks, brother.
Take care of yourself.
Okay, guys, that's pretty much the end of the show. Hope you've enjoyed it. We'll be doing post-game show. I know that we're doing there might be a pop-up show coming in to discuss this running back situation with Chase Edmonds out. We hadn't had a chance to talk about that today, and potential free agents that we could be looking at, or do we just stick with what we got and take someone off the practice squad? However, it is the end of the show. We have got shows coming up. So we've got a pre-game show. We'll have a post-game show. And we'll have the aftermath, and there's always other stuff going. We've got the Bucs podcast and the Minute Cast that comes up every week. So, guys, stay tuned for all of it and all the good content that we will be putting out, myself, AJ, and the rest of the guys in their writing work that they all do here at Bucs Report. Starting great for a good season. Hopefully it stays true for us, and we see some more wins to keep coming. We got the Cry Eagles Cry. So this has been the game Broad Street South on 102.9, and I will see you guys soon. Bucks on me, Bucks on free. 1, 2, 3, go Bucks!